Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to step on the ice for some biscuits and penalties. I'm Cobra, and I am joined tonight by Alex. Hopefully we have more people stepping onto the ice with me. But anywho, say hello, Alex. Welcome back.
Ooh.
Yep. Alex has been a little bit busy shaking off some of that ring injury. He stepped into the ring last week for the Social Slam podcast. I'm pretty sure everyone saw that or listened to it at least. It was very exciting. It's currently our most listened to podcast on Social Sports Pad Network. But that's enough of that. We got to wait till next week on that one. We gotta talk hockey because hockey is always one of those sports that's exciting. Yeah, but sometimes the players can't stay for long. There have been some big trades, right, Alex?
Oh yeah.
JT Miller, leaves Vancouver. I think 20 minutes after he arrived to the locker room, he was told, you're going to Madison Square Garden. As he joins the Rangers. For me, care to share the details of that? I believe they traded Pedersen for him. I think, let me see this, the trade news.
I think it was for Philip Seitel, Victor Mancini, and a first-round draft pick of the 2025 draft class.
Just for JT Miller.
Yes, and also they also received a Eric Brunstrom and Jackson Dorrington, two
Prospects.
Yeah.
Prospects, yeah. Let me bring these up too. And we also had interesting news out of Philadelphia. By the way, this is all this week. So the Flyers acquired forwards Andrei Kuzmenko and Jacob Pelletier, a second-round pick in the 2025 NHL draft, and a seventh-round pick in the 2028 draft from Calgary for Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee. That's, to me, huge. You know? And speaking of Pedersen, basically Vancouver acquired defenseman Marcus Pedersen and Drew O'Connor from Pittsburgh for forward Danton Hannon, defenseman Vincent Desharnais, forward prospect Melvin Fernstrom, and a first-round pick. This was in February 1st. Sorry. Dallas got they acquired Mikhail Granlund and Cody Ceci. Already got Johnny Superb Man on my mind. He called Mikhail Granlund Granny Smith from San Jose for a first and third. So that is interesting. The Sharks definitely trying to rebuild. Utah acquired, this is in the third, on February 3rd. Utah acquired Samuel Walker from Minnesota for future considerations. The greatest player ever. And today, Nashville acquired Mark Friedman from Vancouver for future considerations. Who is, by the way, the best player in the Nashville Predators, future considerations. So I'm gonna broach this to you, Alex. Which of these trades that we mentioned is potentially the biggest one?
To go with the JT Miller trade, knowing how the Rangers have been kind of on a down slope this season outside the New York team, struggling a lot. They move a big player to Vancouver, who's in the playoff picture right now, who's trying to get into the playoffs as we wind down the last 2 or 3 months of the season and trying to get into the playoff picture. I think this is a great move for JT Miller. The Canucks have a great offense, they have a great defense, and they have a great coach around them to really push them. It seems like all the Canadian teams are playing decently this year that could make a big impact. And that first round pick is a great thing for the Rangers can get a top 10 prospect, top 15 prospect to really build up their team for next season and hopefully try to get out of this slump they've been in, and try to get back in the Metropolitan race.
Yeah, with the Rangers, it's been pretty much a question mark this whole entire season, considering they still have Igor Shesterkin. Shesterkin is one of the best goalies in the NHL. It's it's weird to see him fall off a cliff like this, but it's also if you don't have a team around you, an elite goaltender can pretty much become Vesa Toskala. That's the best way I can probably describe it. I mean, look, even Dominik Hasek, my favorite goaltender, struggled behind a very, a very woeful Sabres team a couple times. It's happened. It's happened. But for me, I think it's the Flyers trade with Calgary. I thought that Farabee and Frost were very, very great talents, especially for the Flyers. They were, both of them were great future superstars, in my opinion. They had that type of skill set, and the Flyers just packaged them for this trade. I think this is a huge win for the Calgary Flames. And Danny Briere, what the fuck are you doing? It's clear you don't know what to do as a GM. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. Alex, do you want anything to add before we discuss what I have to say now? Hold on one second.
Can I bring up the last big trade that happened?
Yeah, this happened a little earlier. A little earlier before the month changed, but it was I believe it involved Carolina, aka You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, go ahead, Alex.
The Hurricanes acquired forward Michael Atkinson and Taylor Hall in a big blockbuster 3-team trade with the Avalanche and the Blackhawks a couple of weeks ago on Friday the 25th of January. The Avalanche received Jake Drury, Martin Nexus, a second-round pick, a fourth-round pick in 2026, and forward prospects, while also the Blackhawks will be retaining 50% of Anderson's $9.5 million salary, and also getting a third-round pick from the Hurricanes as well in this massive trade.
That is a huge trade, very huge. In your opinion, Alex, who's the big winner in this?
I think it's going to be the Avalanche. They got two forwards. They seem to be struggling on offense this year to get the puck moving. They've kind of been outscored a lot in their games. And they get two pretty early picks. The second-round pick in 2025 this year, and then the fourth-round pick in 26. And with the Blackhawks prospect, they could develop into a big star and pair with maybe, if he's good enough, he can be paired up with Nathan McKinnon until he retires. And then this is a big step for them because they could build a good team and move things around with the deadline, or maybe next season if they don't, use that fourth-round pick in 2026, they could trade it again to gain more draft capital.
Could not have said it better myself. I absolutely agree with you. The Colorado Avalanche came away like gangbusters on this. Not only retooling per se, but fixing a problem that they needed to fix, which was their offensive woes. And also preparing for the future without Nathan McKinnon. This is huge for a huge win for the Avalanche. Not saying that the Hurricanes did badly in the deal themselves, but this was a great move for the Avalanche, a good move for Carolina, but just further tire spinning for the Blackhawks. It's almost like we're in the 90s again. Except there's no Eric Daze, but anyhow. But now I have to get to something that this is coming out of NHL's Twitter, by the way, NHL News Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Fuck you, Elon. So, for those of you who have been listening and have been following the NHL season, we lost a great player this year in Johnny Gaudreau. We also lost his brother Matthew, who was a prospect, and who definitely seemed like he was on the road to superstardom himself. They were killed by a drunk driver. His name is Sean Higgins. So this is the news. Sean Higgins, the drunk driver that fatally struck Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, is fighting to have his indictment tossed. By the way, I should say, quote, alleging that the Gaudreau brothers were both drunker than him at the time of the deadly hit and run. Higgins detailed the Gaudreau brothers' blood alcohol levels in new court documents filed Tuesday, seeking to have the charges dropped. Higgins' blood alcohol concentration was listed as being 0.087. That is just over the legal limit, court papers state. Tests also showed that Johnny Gaudreau's blood alcohol concentration levels 129 where he was killed, while Matthews had a reading of 0.134 according to the filing. Higgins' attorney did not argue in the new filing that the Gaudreau brothers' blood alcohol levels played any role in the crash. Higgins still faces over 60 years in prison if convicted. Now, I'm going to say this openly. No matter what he says, a crime is still a crime. He is responsible for the murder of 2 people. I do not know the Gaudreau brothers' toxicology report. And besides, they were on regular bicycles. Not as dangerous as a fucking car. Period. Full stop. That is my opinion on that. You are not going to hurt anyone drunk cycling. You are definitely going to hurt and kill someone potentially if you drink and drive. So a reminder that if you do drink and you are out on the road, get someone else, get a DD, get home safe, period. Tragedies like this need to be avoided. Sorry for the PSA, but seriously, this fool, this idiot, this murderer, because that's what he is. No, he's basically throwing the Trump defense out there. Oh, a quote, oh, I did a crime, but the other people did even further crimes. So why should I get charged? Yeah. Fuck off. That's all I gotta say on that. This fucking anyhow. But that's again enough of my rambling and ranting. Let's get to the standings and wash this taste out of my mouth. Alex, you have the standings in front of you.
I do.
All right. You know what? Since I've done a lot of the standings readings, I'm I'm going to have you do it. And start with the Metropolitan Division, the East Coast.
In first place are my Washington Capitals, 36-11, 79 points. The Carolina Hurricanes in second, 32-19. 32-19 68 points. Number 3, the New Jersey Devils, 30-20 66 points. 4, Columbus Blue Jackets, 26-21 60 points. New York Islanders, number 5, 25-21 57 points. Number 6, the New York Rangers, 26-23 56 points. Pittsburgh Penguins, number 7, 22-24 53 points. Number 8, the Flyers, 23-26 7 with 53 points.
It sounds like the Flyers are revving up the tanks. Not going to lie. That's what it sounds like to me when they got rid of Farabee and Frost. It seems like they're revving up the tanks. And now, if you don't mind, I'll read the Atlantic, and I'll have you read. We're basically going to tag team the divisions, our conferences. Sorry. So, in the Atlantic Division, the Florida Panthers, 33-20 69 nice points. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 33-19 68 points. The Tampa Bay Lightning, 29-20 62 points. The Ottawa Senators, 29-22 62 points. The Detroit Red Wings, 28-21 61 points. The Boston Bruins, 27-23 60 points. The Montreal Canadiens, 25-24 55 points. And the Buffalo Sabres, 22-26 49 points. And Alex, before we get to the standings, I just wanted to add, earlier this week, Tage Thompson, star forward for the Buffalo Sabres, had a massive hit to the head. Pretty much knocked his helmet off. And what were the Sabres doing? What the hell were the Sabres doing? You're not going to stand up for your teammate? You're not going to, fight? What? Come on. All right. Western Conference. Go to the Central. Alex?
The Winnipeg Jets, 38-14 79 points. Looking like one of the best teams in hockey. Obviously, with Connor Hellebuck dominating as usual.
America! Fuck yeah!
Dallas Stars, 34-18 69 points. Minnesota
Nice.
Wild, 32-19 68 points. Colorado Avalanche, 32-22 66 points. The Utah Hockey Club, Moments, Mammoths, whatever you want to call them. 23-22 Outlaws, yeah.
Yeah, Outlaws. Yeah, that's it. That's in the running.
23-22 55 points. St. Louis Blues, 24-26 53 points. The Nashville Predators, 18-27 43 points. And the Chicago Blackhawks, 16-31 6 with 38 points.
All right. And now in the Pacific Division, we have the defending Western Conference champion, Edmonton Oilers, 34-16 72 points. The Vegas Golden Knights, 32-17 70 points. The Los Angeles Kings, 28-17 62 points. The Vancouver Canucks, 25-18 11 61 points. Excuse me. The Calgary Flames, 26-21 59 points. The Anaheim Ducks, 23-24 52 points. The Seattle Kraken, 23-29 50 points. and the San Jose Sharks 15, 34, and 7, 37 points. They are currently the bottom feeders, and they're definitely they're definitely Sharks that have got finned. By the way, do not eat shark fin soup. Avoid it. It sucks. Save the sharks. They're the pit bulls of the ocean for a reason. Not because they're bad, but because they do a job. Sorry, that's a little PSA. Anywho, let's get to our games of the weekend, Alex. You still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. We have the Lightning face off against the Red Wings, and the Devils face off against the Canadiens. Then at 3, we have the Vegas Golden Knights facing off against the Boston Bruins. Then at 7, starting tonight, we have the Senators at the Panthers. We have the Battle of Pennsylvania with the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Definitely a certain salty Yinzer. We'll definitely be checking that out. Shout out to our friend of the channel, Urinating Treat. Hey, what about me? Yinzer. The Yinzer had to show up. Shouldn't you be ripping apart your Russell Wilson jersey considering he wants nothing to do with your asses? Shut up! Shut up, Cobra! Whatever, Yinzer. We have the Chicago Blackhawks face off against the St. Louis Blues. Nice Western Conference matchup. The Maple Leafs and the Canucks. The Rangers and Blue Jackets. The Islanders Wild. The Sabres and Predators. The Stars and the Sharks. The Kraken and the Flames. And the Ducks and the Kings for Saturday. And then for Sunday, we have the Utah Mormons versus the Washington Capitals. And the Lightning facing off against the Canadiens. So, Alex, 2 games for Saturday and 1 game for Sunday. Who you got?
My game for 2 games Saturday, more with Lightning, Red Wings. I feel like the Lightning have been on a hot streak recently, winning games. The Red Wings have seemed to be up and down this season, but they seem to be getting going on offense a little bit. And I feel like this would be a good matchup in Detroit, a gritty offensive game. It could be a really close game at the end of the day.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go with the Battle of Pennsylvania. I feel like the Penguins and Flyers seem to have a great rivalry. They seem to play really close with each other. And with the Metropolitan being as close as it is, this is a big game for both these teams that are trying to get into the playoffs, trying to sneak in there at the last wild card spot. And whoever loses could be doomed for the playoffs come April.
Yep. You stole my pick on that one. Darn you. And what was your pick for Sunday? There's only two. I'm assuming it's Utah and Washington, right?
Yeah.
Considering that the chase for Gretzky's goal record is getting closer and closer for the grade 8. He is currently at 16 away from tying. I'm assuming that's right, correct, Alex?
Yes.
And all right, and as for me, I've got an interesting one here. I'm going with the Islanders and the Wild. By the way, speaking of the Wild, Marc-Andre Fleury made history this week. He is the first goalie to record a shutout as a teenager and at the age of 40. Most goalies kind of retired towards their mid to late 30s, and not many goalies, go past 40 because, as everyone knows, the body breaks down past 35. And that's something I got to be aware of as well. Especially a goaltender, especially a butterfly goaltender like Marc-Andre Fleury. So that was interesting to hear. Which, by the way, there have been goalies that have made shutouts past the age of 40 but Fleury was the first to do it as a teenager and as 40. So there's that. And I'm also going to go with the Battle of California with the LA Kings hosting the Anaheim Ducks. This is always a good matchup. Look, I will not sugarcoat it. And by process of elimination on Sunday, I have the Lightning and Canadiens. Martin St. Louis is hosting his former team. The team that got him the most success. He is he is Canadiens head coach. So this is going to be, it's always fun to see what Martin St. Louis has in store. And that is it for Biscuits and Penalties. But of course,
one more thing.
What's up? Okay, go ahead. Before I do the ad read, go ahead.
The next time we'll see you guys on the next episode, we'll be talking the Four Nations, because that is happening over the course of the weekend and the next week. So there are no more major hockey games until after the Four Nations happens, which would be, the end of this week and early next week on Valentine's Day weekend.
Correct. I forgot about that. Alex, thank you, my friend. But yeah, like I said, this episode of Biscuits and Penalties, how fitting it was brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics.com is the go-to place for official NHL merchandise. They're also the official jersey supplier of the NHL, but they also cover a multitude of other leagues. The MLB is coming up for spring training, so gear up and get ready. There's also, the NBA is underway. That you have college basketball coming up, so get some NCAA gear. The WWE support your, it also does with Fanatics. But you know what else is coming up on Sunday, Alex? That's right, the big game, the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Eagles 2, electric fucking boogaloo. Hate it. But you know what? I hate it as much as a lot of people, but all I gotta say is, if your favorite player left during the trade deadline, why don't you use our affiliate before the trade deadline? Excuse me. Why don't you use our affiliate link in the bio wherever you get your podcasts? Show the channel some love, and hey, tell them the Biscuits Penalties sent you. This Fanatics. And like I said, that is it for the Biscuits and Penalties podcast. We're a little bit of news. If you are expecting to hear us on Friday next week, sorry, we're kind of not, because Biscuits and Penalties will be moving to Saturday. Because coming up on Friday is the Dirt and Turf podcast. It won't be next week, but it will be the week after. So be on the listen, for the return of the Dirt and Turf podcast. And of course, on Saturday, that means the Hard Count will be having its final episode of the season to cover not only the big game, but also to prepare ourselves mentally for the draft later on this season. So, but of course, Social Sports Pad Network isn't going away. Neither am I. Neither is Alex. Because we have the Social Slam podcast next Sunday. We are on the road to WrestleMania. WrestleMania, baby. Woo! And of course, we have our friend Greg, who is co-hosting the podcast, the Social Slam podcast with us. So don't forget to hear him on the lap down. But that is it for Biscuits and Penalties. Of course, thank you, Fanatics, and thank you to our other sponsors. The links are in the bio wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to check them out. Get something to support the channel. And speaking of support the channel, we're on YouTube. We're on TikTok for as long as that is. And hey, we're hoping to expand, hoping to grow, and it's also kind of fitting that it's on that this episode's on February 7th because it is my brother's birthday. My brother Ricky is actually one of the founders of the Social Sports Pad Podcast Network. And he is the one who got me into podcasting. So definitely, if you are a listener of the podcast, first off, thank you. But don't forget to support my brother Ricky on Twitch. His handle, he is at Billy Styles 313. That is BillYStyles 313, all one word, at Twitch. Don't forget, follow him and say, hey, Cobra sent us. So, anywho, that's it for Biscuits and Penalties. I'm Cobra, and Alex, that's a Zamboni. We gotta get off. See y'all next time. See you Saturday, actually.